In 2023, a group of the world's most senior AI researchers signed an open letter. It had one sentence.
Mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority, alongside other societal scale risks such as pandemics and nuclear war.
Exactly. It was signed by the CEOs of Google DeepMind, Anthropic, and OpenAI, the same people building the technology they were warning the world about.
Right. Think about that for a moment. The people closest to this technology, the people who understand it better than anyone alive, signed a letter saying it might end humanity, and then went back to work the next morning.
Exactly. Welcome back to NeuroPulse. I am Alec.
And I am Riya. Today we go inside the AI safety movement, the researchers who walked away from million-dollar jobs because they were too frightened of what they were building, the whistleblowers.
The protester.
And the question nobody wants to answer, is any of it actually working?
Stay with us, because by the end of this episode, you are going to understand something about the AI industry that the industry very much does not want you to understand.
Let us start with a name most people outside the AI world have never heard.
Paul Christiano.
Paul Christiano is one of the most respected AI safety researchers in the world. He spent years at OpenAI working on a problem called alignment, which is the technical challenge of making sure AI systems actually do what humans want them to do,
Right.
rather than finding unexpected shortcuts that achieve the goal in dangerous ways.
Exactly. In 2022, he left OpenAI and founded his own organization called the Alignment Research Center. And in a podcast interview that sent shockwaves through the AI safety community, he said something extraordinary.
He estimated there was a 10 to 20% chance that AI development leads to outcomes that are, in his words, extremely bad for humanity, meaning civilization ending bad, or worse.
10 to 20%, from one of the people who has spent the most time thinking carefully about this problem.
To put that in context, the probability of dying in a car accident over your lifetime in America is about 1%. We built an entire industry around making cars safer because of that 1%.
Exactly. Paul Christiano thinks the thing he dedicated his career to building has a 10 to 20% chance of ending civilization, and he still gets up every morning and works on making it safer because he believes someone has to.
That's not a conspiracy theorist. That's not someone who doesn't understand the technology. That's the opposite, someone who understands it so deeply that it keeps them up at night.
But Paul Christiano is not alone. In the last 3 years, something remarkable has been happening inside the AI industry.
People are leaving, quietly, carefully, and sometimes loudly.
In May 2023, Geoffrey Hinton, often called the godfather of modern AI, resigned from Google after a decade. He wanted to speak freely about the risks of the technology he helped create,
Right.
without the constraints of speaking as a Google employee.
Hinton spent his career making AI more powerful. He won the Nobel Prize for his foundational work. And then he left one of the most prestigious positions in technology because he was frightened of what came next.
He said publicly that he partly regrets his life's work.
That's an extraordinary thing to say. Imagine dedicating 50 years to building something, winning the highest honor in your field for it, and then standing up in public and saying you're not sure you should have done it.
And then there was the letter. In March 2023, a group of researchers and technology leaders published an open letter calling for a 6-month pause in the development of the most powerful AI systems, to give humanity time to study the risks and put safety measures in place.
It was signed by over 30,000 people, including Elon Musk, Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak, and hundreds of serious AI researchers.
The 6-month pause never happened, not for a single day. Development continued. The letter was noted, discussed extensively, and ignored by the industry it was addressed to.
So, if the letters are not working, what about the people who decided to do something more visible?
On the 28th of February 2026, just days ago, hundreds of people marched through London's King's Cross, the same street where OpenAI, Meta, and Google DeepMind all have their UK headquarters.
They chanted, they carried signs, they walked directly past the front doors of the companies building the most powerful AI systems in the world.
The march was organized by two groups, Pause AI and Pull the Plug, and the concerns on display ranged from AI flooding the internet with fake content to something far more fundamental.
The possibility that AI ends human civilization.
But Tilda de Rui, one of the organizers, said this, and it is one of the most striking things anyone has said publicly about AI in years.
She said it is a mystery to her that anyone would focus on anything else if they actually understood the problem. Either AI solves everything or it wipes us out. No middle ground.
Nobody from any of the companies came outside.
And that silence, that image of hundreds of people screaming outside glass doors that never opened, might be the most honest summary of where we are with AI safety right now.
But here's where it gets complicated. And this is the part that almost nobody talks about honestly.
The people most worried about AI, the serious researchers, the former insiders, the people who've actually worked on these systems, are not saying stop building AI.
Almost none of them are saying that.
What they are saying is something more nuanced, and in some ways more unsettling. They're saying, we're building something we don't fully understand, moving faster than our ability to make it safe, and the gap between capability and safety is growing, not shrinking.
Right, Geoffrey Hinton is not calling for AI to be banned. Paul Christiano did not leave OpenAI because he thinks AI shouldn't exist. They're raising alarms because they believe the current pace and approach is reckless, not because the technology itself is inherently wrong.
And this is where the AI safety movement faces its deepest challenge, because the same people most worried about AI are also the people most capable of making it safer. And the only way to make it safer is to keep working on it.
It's one of the strangest positions in the history of technology. The people ringing the alarm are also the ones who can't stop.
So what's actually working?
Honestly, some things are.
The EU AI Act passed in 2024 and is now being implemented. It's the most comprehensive AI regulation in the world, and it's already forced companies to change how they develop and deploy certain systems in Europe.
The UN convened its very first independent panel of AI experts just this week, 40 scientists from around the world with a mandate to assess the real impact of AI and close what the Secretary General called the AI knowledge gap.
Anthropic, the company that makes Claude, was founded specifically because its founders were worried about AI safety and wanted to build AI differently. Safety isn't a feature they added, it's the reason the company exists.
And a growing number of governments are taking the question seriously in ways they were not 2 years ago. The conversation has moved from the fringes to the center of international policy in a remarkably short time.
3 takeaways from today.
First, the people closest to AI are also the people most frightened by it. This is not a contradiction. It is the most important signal we have.
Second, the letters, the protests, the resignations, they have not stopped AI development, but they have changed the conversation in ways that are beginning to produce real policy responses.
Third, the AI safety movement is not anti-technology. It is pro-caution. And there is a difference that matters enormously.
Next time on Neural Pulse, we go somewhere completely different. AI is being used to create music, art, films, and books, and the people whose work it was trained on never gave permission. The biggest creative theft in human history or the next evolution of art. We will let you decide.
But before you go, we promised last episode to read out your comments, and you delivered.
We asked you, if you could send one message to the people building AI, what would you say?
Here's what you said.
We will read the best ones in the video. Drop yours below if you haven't already.
And this week's question is simpler and harder at the same time.
The people who understand AI best are also the most frightened by it, but they have not stopped.
If the experts will not stop, what would it actually take for any of us to say, enough?
Drop your answer below. We read every single one.
Neural Pulse.
Stay sharp, stay ahead.
Because the future does not wait for anyone.